Hoosiers helping Hoosiers across central Indiana. These are our friends and neighbors on 95.5 WFMS.
Good morning. Welcome to Friends and Neighbors on 95.5 WFMS. I'm Taylor, and chances are if you regularly listen to 95.5 WFMS, you're a fan of music. And you probably also have at times felt that music has acted as therapy to you. Well, there's an organization in the Indianapolis metro area called Resounding Joy we're very fortunate to have, and that's what they do. They utilize music as therapy to help children all the way through senior citizens, and we'll find out all about what they're doing in the Indianapolis area, and maybe there are volunteer opportunities for you. Maybe there are opportunities for you to utilize their services. Here with me today is Amanda Lund, Community Outreach Coordinator. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Lindsay Zarin, Executive Director of Resounding Joy, Indiana. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, thank you for having us.
So I ran into Amanda at Carmel Fest and was like, I need to find out more about this. So we'll take the listeners with us as we find out more about Resounding Joy. So what is Resounding Joy? What is your mission?
So our mission at Resounding Joy is to enhance the human experience through therapeutic uses of music. All of our music therapists are board certified, which means that we have a degree in music therapy, and we have completed a 6-month internship and then passed board certification exams. So we earn that title MTBC. So you might see that after some of our names. So our main goal is to make sure that everyone in our community is seen, heard, connected, and celebrated through music. And we do that through our 4 programs. Our Sounds of Service program supports active duty military, first responders, veterans, and their families. Our Sounds of Healing program supports children and their families, so parents and kind of that whole family unit. And then our Sounds of Legacy program supports seniors and their families in the community, whether that's a senior suffering from dementia or a knee replacement. So
wow.
It could be anybody in that gamut. And then our final program is Sounds of Community, and that's how you met Amanda. And that's where we're out in the community advocating for music therapy as a field, but also letting people know that we're here and how to use music for health and wellness in their everyday lives.
I love that because I really think that initially when I found out about this program, I was thinking more of children and, you know, how I didn't realize that you run the gamut of everybody.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm so glad you brought that up because it's a common misconception that, music therapy, music works really well with kids. And absolutely it works really well with kids. But also music is the only thing that we do as humans that involves the whole brain all at once. And so what that means is that we can use music to work around any type of damage or disease in the brain like dementia or Parkinson's. We can use music to motivate ourselves. We can use music to help us with memory and reminiscence. So there are lots of different ways that we use music with adults that you might not even realize. So for instance, Taylor, what's something that we could help you with today? Why might you come see me?
I have a lot of anxiety.
Okay.
Can you help me?
Absolutely. And this is a very common thing that we're working with people on right now is this stress and anxiety in daily life. So we're going to take a look at what kind of music you already listen to. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be really intentional with that music and start to talk about how your body feels when you're listening to that music and how, like, what is that music bringing up? What memories, what stories, what thoughts? And then I'm not going to tell you not to listen to any of the music you listen to because it's all important. Mm-hmm. And even some of that negative music might validate how you're feeling in that moment. And you might need to hear like, hey, this kind of stinks right now. And that's okay. And so you have that one song that lets you validate that emotion. And then the next song might be one that makes you cry a little bit. Because I don't know if that catharsis is important to me. So maybe I'm angry first in a song and then I have some catharsis and then I'm going to lead that music to guide me to something that leaves me happy. And so a lot of people, when they look at their playlist, they're like, ooh, I want to just throw on Katrina and the Waves.
Right.
Let's just
walking on sunshine. Walking on sunshine.
And you skip over this whole important part where you have to say, hey, I see you, I hear you. You're sad or you're mad, and that's okay. And that can be really frustrating for people when you don't acknowledge that. So for you and with your anxiety and stress, I would recommend that we build playlists like that and then start to use that in your everyday life. There's also some breathing techniques we can do to music. And then if I really get you, you'll be playing ukulele with me.
What?
Yes.
Tell me about this.
So learning an instrument is an awesome way to help people develop coping mechanisms and tools for their daily life. So when you're learning an instrument, it's challenging.
Yeah.
It's not easy to learn an instrument, and especially for adults, it's something new. And if you don't have a musical background, there's a lot of ways that we mess ourselves up in our minds and tell ourselves that we can't do it.
Right.
We can. So I would bring in the ukulele. Ukulele only has 4 strings instead of 6, so it is a little more simple than the guitar. It's easier to hold. It's not as heavy. It's cheaper to purchase. And you can pick lots of fun colors and things.
It just makes you happy.
It just sounds like it,
sound.
yeah. Even the word ukulele.
So fun. And the strings don't hurt your fingers. So there's lots of good things about it. And then as you're learning to play this instrument, I'm also teaching you, okay, hey, so if this part is hard, we're just going to put it down for a second. We're going to do this breathing exercise. And so it's all based on you learning how to play the instrument, but then when you really think about it, it's completely applicable to everyday life. And so we do that a lot, especially with teenagers, to be honest, because it is a lot more approachable to say, hey, we're going to go to guitar lessons, or we're going to go to piano lessons, and kind of form those coping mechanisms and tools from that then can be applied later.
So if somebody's listening right now and thinks that they could benefit from music therapy, and it sounds like pretty much anybody can benefit from music therapy, is there a fee involved with getting involved with your programs?
Great question. So if you feel like you can benefit from music therapy, and like you said, most people can, as long as you enjoy some type of music, we're going to be able to connect. And if you want to get involved, we have lots of different ways. So we always are looking for volunteers, and those volunteers can be musical or non-musical. We have lots of things that we need in our Music Wellness Center, which we're getting ready to open this fall.
Oh, exciting.
And yes, and so we'll have opportunities there. And then if you are musical, we have opportunities for you to help assist our music therapists out in the field with big groups or drum circles in the community, things like that. So that's one way to get involved. If you're looking for services, for music therapy services, then you can contact us through our website or social media. And there is a referral form that you can fill out. We work mainly through grants and donations.
Okay.
As a nonprofit. And we work really hard as a team to make music therapy free, or at least affordable and accessible for everyone. So in order to do that, we work on a sliding scale.
Okay.
So we'll work with you and your family and try to fit you into grants that we have and other things that can support that. And then we also do events in the community to raise funds. We do music trivia nights in the community that are a lot of fun, and looking forward to raising some money to help bring music therapy and make it more accessible and affordable for everyone. The other thing that we try to really keep in mind is our team is small and we are growing. But we know that typically music therapists have about an 18-month wait list for patients in the state of Indiana right now.
Oh, really?
Yes. So if there are any music therapists listening who are looking for a job,
Yeah.
please email me.
I would think a radio would be, our product is music. That's why I thought this
Exactly.
would be such a natural thing to talk about here, because I'm assuming that everybody listening enjoys music.
Exactly. Yes. And so music therapy is a field that is rapidly growing. There is a desperate shortage of music therapists right now in every state. And part of that is because science and technology is catching up, and we're realizing how beneficial it is. And now with brain imaging and scanning and things, we're seeing why music works and how it works the way it does. And so we have a lot of people that are requesting it, which is fantastic. So yeah, if there are listeners out there who are really loving music in high school and you're not sure about what field to go into in college, definitely a career in music therapy is a lucrative choice.
Well, where were you 20-something years ago? Because I got into radio because I like music so much.
When I went to college in 2004, I didn't. Music therapy was not a lucrative field to get into.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of it only started in 1950 as like a career.
Wow.
So were people using music to heal and soothe before then? Of course.
Right.
Since the first instrument was created. But in this case for music therapy, it started in 1950. And what happened was mainly men coming home from war, from the world wars, were in hospitals, and doctors started to notice that if there were volunteer musicians in rooms, that those patients required less pain medicine and typically went home faster. So they were like, this is worth looking into. So that's when the research started on it. And so now hospitals most hospitals have music therapists on staff because you do require less pain medication. Patients do go home sooner. They have higher quality ratings at the hospitals if there's a music therapist. So lots of things like that have happened from that. Fast forward to 2004. I went to St. Mary of the Woods College in Indiana, which is actually has a very well-known and very reputable music therapy program. But when I went for music ed, and I, at the time, I remember doing a tour at St. Mary of the Woods, and my mom stopped halfway through and she was like, I know this girl's a music therapist and I know that sounds like fun to you, but it's not a real job. Well, because at the time we really, it was not that it wasn't a real job. It absolutely was and is, but it was not something that was super well known. There weren't a ton of jobs and music education seemed safer. It's interesting because now I feel like it's kind of swapped roles, but I taught music for several years in Indianapolis and then also in Bloomington, Indiana.
What do you play? Like, are you a master of everything?
Well, to be a music therapist, you have to be proficient in guitar, piano, drums, and then flute was my main instrument in college. And I also play the ukulele and the harmonica and the saxophone.
Wow.
Oh, and yes, you have to be proficient in voice.
Really? Okay. Well, that rules me out, but like
it ruled me out too. So did half the other things.
But I can help volunteer.
There are lots of ways to be musical.
This has been so cool learning about this. I do want to ask you specifically about the programs that you were talking about as related to veterans and first responders. Can you tell us a little bit more about those programs?
Absolutely. So this is a good time, too, to kind of talk a little bit about the history of Resounding Joy, just a very quick crash course, because we have an interesting history. So Resounding Joy started 20 years ago and was founded by Barbara Royer, who's still our CEO, and it was started in San Diego, California. And she started this program because she noticed that there were just a lot of older adults who were homebound, and it wasn't necessarily that they needed therapy, they just needed a visit. They needed social interaction. So she started training volunteers to do music and do this. So that's how it started. Over the years, it's evolved, and in San Diego, there was a huge need to support active duty military with all of the military bases there. I started working at Resounding Joy in 2015 in San Diego, but I was born and raised in Madison, Indiana. Am a Hoosier at heart, and after we moved back in the end of 2020, so right in the middle of the very fun. I was also 7 months pregnant.
Oh my gosh!
Had a 3-year-old and was moving across the country.
Oh wow!
And as I was doing this, I told our board and Barbara that I loved Resounding Joy and our mission, and I didn't want to leave. And would they consider an expansion and let's try this and see how it works. So that is what happened. When we moved and got settled, my daughter Frankie was born in January of 2021 with lots of health issues and had to have a feeding tube and had several hospitalizations and procedures. I met Amanda during that time. She was my neighbor and reached out and started helping a lot with Frankie. And so I was kind of on the other end of music therapy for a little bit.
Wow.
Where I was needing that support. And
Yeah.
it taught me a lot. And Frankie is a stubborn, strong, hard-headed, perfectly healthy munchkin now. So, but she's taught me a lot. But when we got settled and we kind of figured out we started Resounding Joy then. So our very first session was September 11th of 2021. And we did a drum circle just to support the community on that day in Sophia Square in Carmel. So that was our very first session. And then from there, we have grown massively. Last year, we saw over 2,000 people with one music therapist and one community outreach coordinator.
Really? Just here in Indiana?
Yes.
Wow.
Just here in Hamilton County.
This is so great. So we wouldn't have this program if you hadn't been in San Diego and gotten
Thank you.
involved with
I
it.
say that
and
to
then
her all the time, and she doesn't always hear it. Had Lindsay
Hear
not
it.
come here, we would not have this to offer. And it's so important. Lindsay herself has experienced a lot, even through her daughter and her life, just like everybody else has.
Uh-huh.
And she saw the need here.
Right.
And she started here with our first responders because
Okay.
that is, like we were talking to you about with your anxiety and things like that, people are struggling
Yeah.
and they don't always know where to turn for help. And Resounding Joy can give you tools and help and support. And we understand how inaccessible a lot of that feels and how it's felt to us. And so that is our mission, is to bring it to people as loudly as we can, because the human body can process any emotion within 3 minutes. How long is the average song, Taylor?
About 3 minutes, Amanda.
Look at that. You can feel what you need to feel when you need to feel it, and music can help you a lot in that way. And going through life, you need every tool you can get, but we can add some really fun ones to your box. And that's why we do what we do. And reaching out and supporting people in our community, like our first responders and our active duty and veteran military, is so incredibly important because they are the backbone of our community.
Absolutely.
And so they need all the support that they can get. And so if we can help them, we're going to. And that's why it's such a vital, that's why our Sounds of Service exists, is to support people like that in our community and allow them. And men typically are the ones that are served the most. They're also the least likely to believe in what we do. And
Interesting.
so it's very, very fun to get them to see the value of hitting a drum. It's a very enjoyable thing.
How do you get referrals? Like maybe somebody is with a doctor dealing with PTSD. Do the doctors refer them out to you? Like, hey, here's an organization that you may not believe in this, but give it a try.
Yeah, it kind of depends on where the referrals are coming from. A lot of times, a doctor might say, like, I recommend trying music therapy. And we would hope that people would look around and find the best music therapist for them. There are lots of music therapists in our state. Even though there's a shortage, there are quite a few of us and doing great work. Resounding Joy is kind of unique in that we're seeing kind of the full gamut of people. And we're newer, so it's just hard for people to learn about us and everything. But most people refer themselves or a loved one. From events like Carmel Fest, we have people come up and talk to us and be like, oh, I didn't realize this could help my mom.
Right.
I didn't realize that this could help my dad, or I didn't, so a lot of referrals have come that way. And then those people let other people know, and then word of mouth has kind of taken it from there. We do also partner with a lot of organizations. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I work for a not-for-profit and our consumers would really benefit, please reach out. So we partner with lots of awesome locations: Shepherd Center, Gigi's Playhouse, Joy's House, Parkinson's Foundation of Indiana. So like all kinds of organizations that we partner with to bring music therapy to their location too.
That's excellent. I wanted to ask you about volunteer opportunities because, like we've kind of touched on, if you're listening to 95.5 WFMS, you probably love music. So you may be looking for a volunteer activity. What do you have for people that would be interested in working with Resounding Joy?
We have events throughout the year that we are always looking for. So if you're crafty and you like making centerpieces or you like decorating or any of those things, definitely we are always looking for people to help with that. We also are getting ready to, like I said, move into our new office.
Yeah, can you tell me more about that?
Yes, so our Music Wellness Center is opening this fall in Noblesville.
Cool.
It's 1106 South 8th Street, Noblesville. And we're super excited about it. Build out is happening right now, and we're going to need help with like inventory and actually moving in. And then we'll have 2 weekends this fall of, we're calling our volunteer blitz, where we'll have people come in and help paint and maybe patch a hole or two.
Yeah.
And help us kind of move stuff in and get set up. And then we also, like I said, the opportunities for musicians. So we do a lot of things, especially around the holidays. We actually work really closely with Chris Kendallmart, the Carmel Chris Kendallmart. So we'll be looking for volunteers to carol with us. And our caroling that we do there is all inclusive. So it does not matter what challenge you have in front of you. Come and sing with us. And if that challenges your tone deaf, that's fine too.
I'll be singing too. You'll be in good company. Don't worry.
Yeah. Amanda and I will be in the back.
We always have sleigh bells. We always have sleigh bells.
I love that. How can people find you on social media or websites, all that fun stuff?
So our website, it is resoundingjoyinc.org/Indiana. We are Resounding Joy IN on Instagram, Resounding Joy Indiana on Facebook, Resounding Joy IN on Twitter. And then as our new office is being renovated and we get to show all these fun updates, we'll be launching a Resounding Joy Indiana TikTok as well.
Oh, fun.
So that people can see. That's one of our biggest things that we're the most excited about upcoming. It gives us a great opportunity to serve the community, but we can't do it without our community. And so that is something like we will be fundraising for and working through, and we will get to host people there all the time for all different kinds of events. And so we want to be able to show people as much as possible and as frequently as possible. And TikTok seems to be the way to do that.
Right.
People follow us along in short, fun ways. I'm also really trying hard to get us an office mascot. I would really like a tiny horse.
Okay.
Office mascot.
All right. Like
So
a
if anybody
like a
on
live
TikTok-
tiny
Something
horse?
else your listeners might have.
Huh.
Yes.
All right.
They
Well,
have things called house horses, and I think it would be an excellent therapeutic addition to our new office. And who wouldn't?
Then
wanna
we'll
watch
need a
that?
volunteer.
I was just going to
clean up
say,
and take
you
care
need
of
a
the
volunteer
house.
to take care of your tiny horse.
But there are a lot of things that way with our office.
I want to let everyone know too about some of the groups that we'll have open to the community. So if you're not sure if music therapy is right for you, if you're not really looking for something that you feel like is therapy, we can tell you this is not a couch situation. So when we have these groups, you're going to be making the music and experiencing the music, and we're just going to give you ways that you can do that to feel better. So, but we are going to have groups for females, girls ages 6 to 10, for anxiety. We're having a lot of referrals for that right now. So we're going to have some like self-esteem, girl power groups going on. And those will be bands. So girls can come and learn an instrument while they're making new friends and then build self-esteem through that process. We'll have our audibility group, which is a group for people with Parkinson's where they learn how to play harmonica, and it helps with breathing, it helps with swallowing, and then also, again, just fun motivation to get out and socialize, which makes us all feel better.
Yeah.
We'll also have our melody and memory group, which will be for people with dementia and their loved ones, and it's kind of like a sing-along fun way to come and reminisce together. So, and our fourth one, Shine and Sing, which is our group for kids ages 0 to 5 with a developmental disability and their families. So siblings can come, parents can come, It's very fun. It's very interactive and teaches you a lot of how to use music at home for, when times are tough or challenging.
Yeah.
Those are just 4 of the things we'll have going on at our new office.
Wow. Super, super busy. And I want to ask you, when somebody walks into your new offices, what do they, is it like studios? Is it very open?
It's
me.
It's hello.
The front part of our office is it's a larger foyer area. And then Lindsay's office is up front as well. But I will be the one who will greet you in my beautiful bright yellow office chair. And
Nice.
The goal is to make you feel welcome and wanted because that is what we want. We want people to know that this is a place where you are safe and welcome no matter who you are, no matter what you're bringing in with you. And then right behind me, after you stop at the little coffee bar and get yourself some coffee or whatever else you'd like, you can head into our studio space where we have clinic rooms and then a larger group space so that people can see how they can get involved. They can see what they're participating in, but we also have private spaces for one-on-one sessions with certain clients as needed. Some have needs that they need to be kind of behind a closed door or they don't get distracted or they can't do it. And a group session is something that we want to be able to provide in a much larger, fun space that's accessible. So in the front of the office, what you can expect is to see me with some coffee and a smile.
And that's perfect. That's how I met you to begin with. That's how I met you. That's why you're here. You guys, thank you so much for coming on Friends and Neighbors today on 95.5 WFMS and telling us all about Resounding Joy. And good luck with your new office spaces. And we'll come out and visit you. And this was awesome. I learned so much. Thank you. Lindsay Zarin, Executive Director, Resounding Joy, and Amanda Lund, Community Outreach Coordinator. Thank you, ladies.
Thank
Thank you, Taylor.
Get in touch and tell us about your charitable organization or upcoming event at WFMS.com.
This has been a Friends and Neighbors community show. Thanks for listening.